Right. Okay, so let's officially begin and start recording ourselves. Hopefully none of this beforehand, but it's all good. We will call the meeting to order at 7:08. So, okay, let's stand and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. So we have, I think it'll be a concise meeting, let's say. I feel like we are very organized going into this. And part of that is that the Finance Committee did meet a week or so ago, just knowing, which is Janet and I, and we met with Yvette, because just knowing that we have some big ticket items on our agenda, we wanted to come to you with an organized plan. So I think we'll just save that for the Finance Committee. So that means that under old business, let's start with January action items. The first thing was that I would get in touch with Deb Hoadley regarding doing our strategic planning process, which I did send you all her proposal, so we can talk about that in a couple of seconds. That Yvette is going to create an overview of the elevator upgrade, energy efficiency plan, sort of all of the different things we have going on, which she sent to you. There was an updated sheet. And that Janet will update the investment policy, which she did, and she sent copies to Yvette to be posted and now recorded. So, yep. So was there anything that you had, Yvette, that I didn't list on here? Or I don't know if there was anything else for you. Okay. All right. So SMP is a placeholder, and so the strategic plan. So hopefully you had a chance to look at the proposal that Deb sent to us, which seemed very concise and reasonable and organized, which I think was what we were looking for, was more of a plan of like, these are the steps and here's the timetable. So I know that Janet had a question about the estimated cost, and I followed up with Deb on that just to clarify. So under the estimated cost, there's facilitate 2 community group meetings and the staff meeting. And then below that is facilitate 2 community group meetings, staff meetings, and trustee meetings. We would only pick one of those. So when down at the bottom, the cost is listed as $7,650. That is supposing we just pick either a community group and staff meeting or a community group staff meeting and trustee meeting. So we would have to pick which avenue we wanted to go with that. So what were your thoughts, questions, comments about this? That's okay. Would you like to look at mine?
I have one printed out. I'm going to be really annoyed with myself.
Okay.
If I was organized and then I can't find it.
I like her approach. I think it's valid. My only issue, and it's actually not with respect to her, it's sometimes you get like the meeting that we had with the other woman. We all kind of sit there and we're like, oh, I don't know. It's like, I don't know where we're going to be in 5 years, or I don't know what you're really asking. And so that was my only comment. Because it seemed like there was one person will have a comment and then it's like, yeah, that's good. And then it's silence. And so when she talked about having community meetings or various groups, I want it to be worthwhile. Like I want it to work. And
I put your sign over there, but you can move.
I think that the one thing that makes this different is that her experience is specifically in public library strategic planning. So and she's a working librarian too. So I think she's going to have a different perspective than the other person who is coming in who might not have understood sort of our role as trustees as much, or, and some of the dynamics that are in play between staff and trustees and that sort of thing. So I think in that respect, we might not have, your concern might be dealt with. And I can raise that with her too, that we really are a group that we want structure.
Yes,
we want you to provide us with some direction.
There were suggestions in the original meeting, but once you got a step beyond the suggestions, it was up to you.
And none of us had a direction we wanted to go. We didn't
Yeah.
know where we wanted to go.
Yeah, I just feel like that was a very it was a very loose conversation. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure what was the next step. But this one, it seems like she has things sort of spelled out for us.
Yeah.
My one concern is that she begins in March, and really, I think we would be looking at beginning in maybe May because I want to bring new trustees on because it doesn't make sense. We're not going to have time to start anything in March to begin with.
True.
So we would probably want to get a board in play on April, and then maybe start in May. Maybe even like use part of her work as our retreat for the new trustees, and that kind building on that.
That's
So-
a good idea. And also, new trustees might like to see the old strategic plan so they could get an idea.
Mhm.
We're talking history here.
Yeah. So I guess I'd like to let her know if we're interested in using her services to see if there's like some, if what we decide to do, what this board decides to do, and then I can talk timeline with her if we're thinking, I think that that's fine. But thoughts? Mike, any thoughts?
I'll vote with the majority.
Oh, well, we want to hear your opinion. I think I just enjoyed speaking with her. She seems very, very clear, very much understands what we would be looking for. And it looks like there's a lot of optional things. So I think we can tailor this as we go forward. Because I don't even know that I'd want to commit necessarily to what our options are until we had our initial meeting with her and sort of understood what direction we're going. So I guess I will ask if we should make a motion that we vote to move forward with this strategic planning process. With the cost of, it looks like $7,650, or we could even round it up to $8,000. Just set aside the money so that we can kind of start moving forward with this, and then I can talk timeline with her. So I guess my official motion would be, I'd like to make a motion. Go ahead.
Do you have any comments? Did you like what she had written up?
I recommended Deb.
She recommended her,
Deb
yeah.
Holdley. I can just reiterate my thoughts about her. She has been a library director. She's been a library trustee. So she sees both sides of our relationship. And she has a wealth of knowledge of libraries in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. She's been on the NHLA board. She plans conferences. She does this work, and she's worked with us in the past. She was the facilitator for our kind of focus groups with the staff and the community. But she's a wonderful person. I mean, she really, what you see is what you get. She's wonderful and smart and knows her thing, and she will be able to get the answers out of people and encourage people to participate. I truly believe that. It's wonderful.
I agree. Thank you for pausing to ask that. So then I guess I will make a motion that we accept the Go ahead.
So she said at the end that anything added to that will be an additional charge for everything. So is that something which is like
Right underneath her.
yeah
Yep.
at the end?
I'm trying to see which paragraph you're looking at.
That's the last one.
At the
My style. Yep.
right, yeah.
When I facilitate any of the above.
Yeah, includes travel costs, pre-work, facilitation, and post-work. Yeah, so that it looks like that.
It's the last line.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I was saying $8,000, but I would guess that our needs are pretty basic. I'm not, and she's proposing $7,650, so we could have a little bit extra in there. But I think it's more that she probably doesn't want people constantly emailing and calling her, right? Like, I think it's just to set some boundaries. If there was more communication.
But
I don't
then
know.
she has these optionals also, which is the community forum and
Right. Well, and we were saying that maybe we wouldn't even do all of those things. Maybe we would meet with her, have our first meeting, and sort of talk about what the plan looks like and get an overview of what we would need for us. And so that's why I was going to make my motion that we spend up to $8,000, and that way that kind of lets us do some of these optional things, or all of them if we choose to, but maybe we don't want to have a community forum. I don't know. I don't want to. I wouldn't feel like I could say yes to this or no to that at this point in the process. Like, I would want to meet with her and sort of talk her through and have her talk us through what this is going to look like, and maybe hear from us what we're looking for
and then we could kind of decide together what's going to help us build the process. So I don't know. Does that answer your concerns, or?
No, it's okay. At that time, I'll be part of the.
You'll be part of the community forum, so. Okay. Well, then at this point, I will make a motion that we accept her proposal spend up to $8,000 on the strategic planning process, and that we will, what's the word I'm looking for regarding dates? We will reconfigure the proposed timeline, I guess is the best way to put it, because it doesn't seem like it's going to make sense to meet in March, right? That's not really.
Yeah.
I'll second.
May, yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? 5-0-0. Thank you. I think we just need to like get started, right? And I will reach out to her and say, yes, we'd like to move forward. We have voted to accept your proposal. We want to adjust the timeline, and I'll see if she requires a deposit of any sort and communicate that with the treasurer and with Yvette. So, okay, great. I'm going to ask if we can move the building maintenance project list down to finance committee, because I think we'll cover a lot of that when we're looking at what we're going to be asking for as we move forward. Anybody okay with that? Is there any concern? And energy audit. Is there any further discussion of the energy audit? Okay. New business, general ledger. Let's see. Anything on the general ledger that we have questions for Yvette? Okay. We don't have anything for policy. So we need to talk about scheduling the director's review. So in the past, the way this has worked is that we have a evaluation form, review form. If you prefer the word review, we will give to Yvette. She'll have one that she'll fill out. We as a board will meet and we will fill out one. And then we will get together with Yvette and we will just talk about how we both feel things are going on each item. So, and we have to do it in March because we have to do it before you two are off the board. So, what are some good dates for people moving forward? Let's look at the first or second week of March.
Are we using the same form last year? What we used?
I think that worked fine. Were there any concerns about the form last year? I thought it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, if I recall, some changes had been made,
Yeah,
and I think that worked fine. So, please, yeah.
So usually the review takes place between March 15th, which is the deliberative session, and then the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at that window.
Okay. So we need to meet before that. We'll need to meet prior to that. So, how does the second week of March look for people, the 6th through the 10th? Do you have any evenings that are available?
You just said it had to be.
But we have
between us
to meet. Just the
Got it.
trustees have to meet to do the review. So,
March. I'm looking at
yep, March 6th through the 10th. Are there any good or bad dates for you? I'm out on Wednesdays. Wednesdays don't work for me.
I don't have anything for March.
Would people prefer the 7th or the 9th? Is there?
I would prefer not to do the 9th.
Okay.
I agree. I'd rather do the 7th.
Okay. So should we meet on the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time?
I can meet anytime. Sohini, I know your schedule is more limited.
6:30. I can.
6:30? Okay. So-
can, if I put it on my calendar, then I won't take any comment.
Okay. So 6:30 on the 7th. And Yvette, can you see if there's a room available for us at the library?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And we will do our evaluation, and then we need to meet with Yvette. We have our regularly scheduled trustee meeting on the 21st. We could do it after that, or we could do it some other day.
So 6:30 p.m. at the library.
On the 7th, yep. So we could meet the week of we could meet on the 16th. We could meet on the 20th, a day separate from the meeting. What are people's feelings on that? I'm
And
open.
you're going to meet the next week is. Alright. So when I'm like, she's going to give the form.
Yeah, so we bet we'll fill out her version of it. We'll fill out ours, and then we get together and we just have a conversation about how we feel like things are going on for each item. So, would you like to meet at the library rather than meeting here after our meeting? We could perhaps meet on the 16th or on the 23rd.
What happened to the 21st?
Or the 21st. I'm throwing out random dates. so-
Okay, well, I was just looking at the third Tuesday, and
So-
so that's the 21st.
The third Tuesday, that's our trustee meeting.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's and we're looking for another meeting beside the 7th?
Well, we're going to meet on the 7th to do our version of the evaluation, but then we
Right.
have to pick a time to go over it with Yvette.
Can we do
Oh,
it after,
oh.
Can we do it after the trustee meeting?
I'm fine with that if you're fine with that. Yvette, how do you feel about doing it after the trustee meeting?
It's fine.
That's fine? Okay. So is that good with everybody?
So that's
Or
the
do-
21st.
Or do people feel like we need a separate time to do it?
I know in the past, I'm not sure what you did last year, but I know I've met with you individually or the full board.
Yeah.
that's
So I guess
another-
that's also a question of what people want to do because Yvette and I think, did we meet just the two of us last
Yes,
year?
I
Yeah.
think so.
I think maybe
remember.
I think,
Maybe.
did
yeah.
we?
You
I think you
because
did.
Yeah, because we met, and I think you took our.
No, I don't think
No, I
so.
think I feel like we
we
met in the
In her office.
Oh, we met in our office
In the
or
Lowell-
in the
Lowell
Lowell
room.
Lowell room.
I thought we met in the Lowell room to do the
For
Okay,
the
that-
for her.
Yeah.
she
yes.
came yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I like the idea of the 21st in that it's people are only being asked to be out one night. On the other hand, I do feel like putting it off to start an evaluation at 8:30 or review at 8:30 or when we're done with our regular business meeting.
Do you want?
I don't feel like people are at their best, right? It's and
True.
just like we're tired, So that's why I want to make sure that we have time for a nice conversation and honor the work that Yvette's done. So, what about would people be open to doing the 20th or the 23rd?
20th is best.
The 20th, would the 20th work for people?
It works for me.
Okay.
Works for me.
So, Henny, would that work for Yvette? Would that work for you?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
20?
Yeah.
The Monday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do that at 6:30, and we'll do that one at the library in the little room again, if that's okay. That seems like a nice environment. So, if that works for you.
I'll check. I'm
Okay.
checking the calendar.
I think last year was different because I think the year prior to that,
I think that
we
was.
maybe did it, we were on Zoom still, and
Yes.
so things were a little different. There was, because the
that's true.
21st, I think in 2021, it was either 2020 or 2021, I brought you like some pastries to get you through the review because we're like, we'll be seeing you on a screen. Here's a little thing.
No, it's fine. 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
March
Mhm.
20th.
That's-
Library.
Yep.
So we're gonna, and the 7th.
The 7th, we will do our evaluation, and the 20th, we will meet with Yvette to go over it all.
The question is, what time to do the,
Let's do 6:30 again.
that's on the 7th.
And the 20th. Yep, both. The other question is, in years past, we asked the staff for their input.
Yeah.
Do people want to do that again?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the way I've done that in the past is to take that form. I give one to each of the department heads. So that would be to the head of tech services, the head of children's, Cirque. That would be Alyssa. And then for reference, I gave one to Joanne. And then this year it's a different configuration in reference. Things are a little different. So
It's still Jen.
Jen is in charge of them. Okay. All right. Is there anybody else that we want to?
I don't know. One year we gave it to. Say Angela.
Yeah, but she's not there.
I know, but I mean it was.
Yeah, like another staff member.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Okay. So I will just make sure that all of the department heads get one and we get their input, and I will report back to you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. So that is done. Schedule director's review. Done. All right, moving on to the director's report.
I'm booking your room.
Okay, but take your time. Take your time.
It's fine. Okay, so we've received a donation of a bin of Legos from Merrimack resident Deborah Champigny. I don't know how to pronounce that. The staff would like to accept this donation for use in the Lego lab programs they have.
Great. I will make a motion that we accept the donation of Legos from Merrimack resident Deborah Champigny, and thank you for the Lego Labs.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Karen, are you in favor of accepting the Legos?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I love Legos.
500. Okay, great. Thank you.
Let's see. I made a note about 2 federal grant opportunities that the ALA presented webinars for, focusing on energy retrofit for nonprofit libraries. This grant is not open yet, but we can use our energy audit information when we apply for it. So still watching it. Let's see. There were a couple of requests from the staff for funding. One is a paging module for the phone system. We had the phone system replaced, and the new system doesn't connect to 3 or 4 speakers that are on the lower level and in the main area, in the bathrooms. Basically, when we make an announcement to close, or we have an emergency announcement or something along those lines, we make the announcement through the phone. And so the speakers on the phone, when you put your speaker on, that is how the message is heard. But places where there are no phones, like the bathroom or the hallway or in the stacks, that's where we have these other speakers. So Jonathan Diaz from the IT department in the town has helped us with the phones, and he's been sourcing a part that will do our paging and connect to these existing speakers in these other areas. So that's something, the detail is in the maintenance report, so it's about $800 for that. And then the other thing we actually don't need is the AED replacement. Joanne was talking to someone else about the life of the AED machines, that they are not expired and they may not have to be replaced. So we're not asking for that one yet.
Okay,
Any
I think
sense to you?
yes. However, I guess I mean, they're old, right? The ones that we have, 2004 and 2014. So if you do find that they need to be replaced, like, I think we just need to replace them. That's like
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, please let us know if you hear otherwise. We want that to be up to date and valid, and make sure that we are in line with what we should do safety wise. So
Okay. Because that's $1,900. So
Each or total?
total.
um,
I'll find out.
yeah,
'Cause
please.
she's having meetings with this other AED person. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. I just want to go with what the fire department is telling us too. So
Okay.
I think if the AD person says, no, you're fine, but the fire department says, no,
Okay.
we're going to go with the fire
So the fire
department.
department is saying replace them, and
Yeah.
the manufacturer is saying no, they're good.
That's
if you wanna do-
surprising.
Yeah.
That is very surprising. Huh.
Uh-huh.
So why does the fire department want them replaced?
The assistant chief's recommendation is to replace any unit that's 8 years old, and replace it definitely by 10. So we've got one that's 2004 and one that's 2014. They're all being maintained. We change the batteries, we test them. So, you know, what another vendor was saying, if we buy through the New Hampshire Bureau of Emergency Medical Services, I think that was the contact, but that's more the idea of, you know, your car will last this long if you change the oil and do all of the regular maintenance, you know, scheduled. And so that was, we've been taking care of these machines.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let us know.
Okay.
Because my inclination is when in doubt, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, okay.
And
And,
then the phone system, it's for this paging piece, which is $807.50.
okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we, okay, go ahead.
What's 1583.21?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Probably office machine, office equipment.
For my, here, 158321, maintenance building and grounds.
Oh, we're overspent.
Did they move that money, though, that we asked to be moved into that? Wasn't there money that was moved into that from a PO that we closed?
The Mill City
Mhm.
has not been closed yet.
Okay. I thought there was a bigger PO, though. There's the,
That,
and there's the 2,500. Then wasn't there a bigger PO that we closed last time? Or maybe 2 times ago, and I reached out to have that done, and I don't see that. Let's see if I can find it. Because we were going to be using the stairs, the money that was in from for the steps from that one.
Right, it was a $60,000 one.
Yeah, so let me go back to the minutes from December, because I think it was in there.
Oh, it's listed.
Let's see. Oh, so it was the Mill City Iron PO, and it was a $60,000 one. So where did that hasn't closed?
That's not listed.
It's not listed on our currently open POs, but
Right.
it hasn't been closed. So.
no, the 2,500 hasn't been closed.
Okay, but there's that $60,000 was supposed to be moved into 8321, and it doesn't look like on this printout that it was. If we're in the negatives here.
Okay. I mean, I'd have to go back and find out from Tom.
Yeah, because that's what the money that we're using for the stairs. So,
Right.
so we need to see if there was a holdup there and how we can
Okay.
make sure. So we put that on action items to see. It was PO number 21221,749. That
Can you
we
say that one more time?
Sure, it was PO 21221749. And we had, dedicated that the phone purchase was going to come from that. And then we were also going to use that money for the stairs. So that needs to show up in that PO line, or we're going to just keep overspending, and that's not our intention. So,
Okay.
and if I need to send him another email or something, just let me know in case that got lost in the shuffle. So.
Okay.
Might have happened.
Yeah, but I know you sent the minutes. I recall seeing that you sent him the sections of the minutes that regard this. So
Yeah.
so we'll just see. Okay. So it's not showing up on open, but then this also could have been, this was the budget that I'm looking at ended January 31st. So maybe that's why. Maybe it happened in February and we just don't see it reflected on this budget year to date. So,
I'll find out.
okay, great. Thank you. That's good. That's why what we're doing. So, okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get us off track. What was your question about? You just wanted to know what 8321 was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not buying this module yet,
Can we use passport funds?
or buy it
Well,
out of 8321 and just, it'll balance out.
But there's still the iron work, the Mill City iron, the 2,500 that you just talked about that hasn't been moved.
Yeah, but I'm really more concerned about the 60,000
totally
one.
agree.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, there's,
But that one had to be closed to then put
Yep.
more money, so I'm sure it's
okay.
just lost in the shuffle.
All right, so obviously we should get this because we need to have it for safety. We want there to be a phone system that people can hear when an announcement is made, no matter where they are in the building, for a variety of reasons. So, yeah. So we'll ask our treasurer where we should get that from.
Let's just take it out of passport.
Okay, so I will make a motion that we spend $807.50 for the Mittel, MITEL module, and we take that out of passport funds.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? 500. And I think keeping in mind too that this still is costing us less than I think our original quote for a phone. So we're still under, doing everything that we need to get done, and we're still spending less than we would have. So thank you to the to Jonathan Diaz and the people at the town who have helped with this. We appreciate that.
It's been very nice.
Yeah, that's
Very
great.
nice to work
Thank
with.
you. Thank you so much to them. Okay, great. Thank you.
A couple of other things to highlight. Still have the energy audit for you guys to discuss. The staff and I are working on the New Hampshire State Library annual report. It's due at the end of April. I don't have a policy this month for you because I heard back from the town attorney and Primex about the meeting room policy and the meeting room waiver. The town attorney said, you should send this to Primex, and then Primex sent me a very long, multi-page response about that with samples from other libraries and other departments in other towns that are, well, here's this, and well, I don't know if this will hold up. But so it's kind of goes back to the town attorney of what will hold up, and the waiver is very, her thought from Primex was, this is really hard to have hold up, So I'm still waiting to hear back from the town attorney about that, and then I can bring you that
Okay.
again with their comments.
All right, great.
We did have the Merrimack Police Department. I had to call them. We had possibly an incident in the bathroom, one of the bathrooms. Not exactly sure what was going on, but when we see something strange or smell something strange, we report it, and an officer comes over and takes a statement. We did look at footage and gave some images to the police, but I don't have any follow-up about that.
Okay.
It's just a question of, do we need to lock the bathrooms and have people ask for a key, or can we just continue as we are? The second question that kind of this brings up in my mind is, should we have Narcan in the building if there's an emergency so that we can administer it? And I don't know where to get Narcan for free. I don't know a lot about Narcan, but in the past, the fire chief has said, no, we're fine, we have it. We now have a different fire chief.
Oh.
And that assistant chief was saying, we're okay with it, we can train you. So it's kind of a discussion that I don't know if we need to have right now, something to think about, but things are happening in our bathrooms that we knew would happen at some point, and now we have to think about it.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Sure. Yep. What else?
Did we ever go back to the energy audit that
No.
we were talking? Okay.
No.
I
I didn't get any notes from anyone. I don't know if you got notes.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what we're supposed to do with it. It's I I enjoyed reading it. I had no problem reading it. I liked seeing some of the things that they could see in like the Lowell and Henderson area outside here.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward,
Yeah, I feel like it's more an informational document that would be used for like the people who are looking at our HVAC chiller and for also any grants that we would apply to, which actually is great that we have it done so that when the
Yes.
grants become available, you've already got that component done and it can
Yes.
easily go towards the grant application. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you have any questions for me about anything else on the report.
Hmm.
very cool about New Hampshire Chronicle.
It was very cool. It was very cool. We got an email. We got an email to our general address, which goes to the reference desk, about, you know, from Gene Mackin saying, hey, we're doing a spot on libraries. We want to talk about how it's beyond the books. And I see you have a really cool Library of Things collection. Can we come over?
Cool.
Heck yeah, you come over. So she came over with a photographer, and they were having so much fun running around running around the library and playing with things. And I had Jen, you know, really manages that collection. And so I asked her to speak to it. And so Jen was, you know, suggesting, well, we have this, here's these cool things. And, you know, they took the night vision goggles outside and put it in the camera. And there's Jean in the, you know, in the trees across where the church is and waving. And we saw the footage, and it was just hysterical. We got out all the instruments and the metal detector and the A-frame sign and, you know, the karaoke machine and
Power
drone.
washers.
And, yeah, they, you know, we really, you
Ran
know,
the gamut.
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah. It's
Oh,
really,
I can't wait to
So
see.
yeah, when you find out when it's going to air, let
Yeah.
us know.
yeah, I
So-
don't know yet, but
Okay.
March, sometime in
Okay.
March.
That's great.
Yeah. So we have a lot of cool things in the Library of Things. And it's really, you know, it's really satisfying, you know, as a director to have our library noticed like that and included in this group of 4 libraries that are being highlighted.
Mhm.
So yeah, yes.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you
Wonderful.
for letting us have a cool library of things collection.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really exciting.
So I also noticed, because it's a service I happen to like, Hoopla going to end at the end of April.
It's going to end. We will run out of money in mid-April sometime. So I told the vendor, let's have a hard stop date at the end of March. So we have a date. Yeah, I mean, the stats are what they are.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that really we need to speak to that it's not that we want to get rid of the service. It's unsustainable. It costs so much.
Yes.
And our job is the job of the library is to keep promoting services. And the more the service gets promoted, the more expensive it will become. And we just won't be able to keep up with it. So we really need to think about how can we use those resources in a way that's going to reach more people and be more effective.
And the vendor's solution is to tell us, well, we can limit the kinds of titles you have, so you're only getting the, you know, less expensive titles, and also don't promote them. It's like, why would we?
Why would we do
Right,
that?
yes.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
I think I read in the report that there were some Advantage titles purchased,
Mhm.
which it's really helpful because when you buy into like Overdrive or the things people use on the Libby app, that's part of a collection that's shared. But the Advantage titles are just for our patrons. So, you know, hopefully some of that will be put towards audiobooks too in the future, which maybe will help offset our loss of Hoopla. So.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, and for Hoopla, the biggest part of the collection were the audiobooks.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
it has streaming, you know, movies and TV shows and comics, but we have that in other areas
Yeah.
too. So we're still offering it. So it should be fine, but we're going to work on messaging in the next month. You know, we really have a month and a half to work on that and point people to the existing collections that we have.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Any other questions for Yvette regarding the director's report? Okay, treasurer's report. Janet, anything you'd like to point out for us?
Just kind of the balances, like every month. Our beginning balance for January in fines was $8,601.72. And we ended the month with $8,215.19. And then for special, we started with $48,329.54. And we ended with $48,467.49. So nothing stands out. Though, I need to move some money because we used trust money to pay for, we used Quimby trust money to pay for Princh, and the original payment came out of fines, and it needs to come out of special. So I really just need to reimburse fines from special.
Okay.
So it is, my note. Ooh, there it is. It's $719.97. So I would like to reimburse fines from special, $17.19, excuse me, $719.97.
Okay, would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to move $700.19.97 from special to fines.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Any questions or further discussion for Janet?
Was there a particular reason why you used the money from the donation or from that particular account? Did you do it knowing that it was going to be reimbursed?
So we got the Quimby Trust money 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had spent some of it on furniture? Library things.
Oh, okay.
And then we went through like what the requirements were.
Okay.
And we were sending an updated report to Dr. Quimby, and we were like, this service, because it's still kind of a new service.
Yes.
And it was like, this fit the bill. His requirements fit that. So I was like, okay, let's use Quimby money to use this. And then this year we did the same thing.
Okay.
To keep this new service going one more year and see where it all falls out.
Okay.
So to date, we've spent the Quimby money per his instructions, and it just happens that the first year that we did it, we took it out of fines.
Okay. So.
And because at the time we didn't know we were going to use Quimby money, so now we just need to reimburse fines from it. That's all.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Sure.
No, it's good. It's good to understand how it all works. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Go ahead.
Did we vote?
No.
That's what
Okay. Yep.
I'm
Okay.
I'm voting.
All in favor. Okay, 5-0-0. Thank you, Janet, for keeping on top of that. We appreciate it. Okay. Acceptance of minutes. We have the minutes from our January 17th meeting. Any comments or changes?
Or omissions. My information got scattered and my
No?
new printer
Oh, I didn't think so.
disappeared on me. It's not working, so.
Okay, well, it looks fine. So,
Okay.
okay, Then I will make a motion that we accept the January 17th, 2023 minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Yep, 4. Opposed and abstaining? 1. Okay, so 401. Thank you. All right, moving on. Building Exploratory Committee has not met. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library. Let me go back and see. What did we talk about since the last time we met? Yvette, do you have anything that you can think of from the Friends? I'm going back in my minutes. Let's see. Right before the book sale. Was the last meeting January 9th? No. Oh, yes, it was, because it says here next meeting, March 6th. Yeah. So it was really talking about stuff for the book sale. So that was really it was preparation of that. So that was really all that was discussed. The next meeting of the Friends will be on March 6th. I think the book sale went really well. It was a little smaller. There was bad weather like the night before, if you remember correctly.
Right, Friday there was a storm.
Yeah, so, but I mean, again, it's just a wonderful service that everybody that came enjoyed it. So I think that that's what you want, right? And there were great books. So it was great. Okay, so that is the Friends. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund Committee, they met, and Yvette and I were in attendance on January 21st. There's 2 new members on the committee, which is great to see that. I think that was just really, they were talking about, they set up a Gmail account. There's a button for donations I think you worked on for them. So, yeah. I don't know if there was anything else I don't know.
No, they
Well-
received a
Oh, yes, that's
Grant.
super exciting. So they received an anonymous grant from the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation for $5,000. Yes, that is, thank you. I can't believe that was I thought about that the other day, like, oh yeah, that grant. So I had sent you all an email about that. So it was from an anonymous source, but that was really like, what a lovely surprise. So whoever that was, thank you. That was great. So, all right. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's a big deal. I
That was a
can't
big
believe I had to, yes, thank you. Anything on the Town Center Committee?
Yeah, the Town Center Committee has been pretty busy. We discussed the Sauhegan Trail, which is still moving along through the state. And they're opening bids for completion. They opened bids for completion like 2 weeks ago. And I don't know whether construction companies have made their bids, but it's pretty active. The Facebook page of the Town Center Committee is moving right along. The media, Merrimack Television, Merrimack TV, is making videos about the ice skating rink, which sadly has not had the action yet that we had hoped. And they also have recently made a video about the demolishing of the old Brentwood home that's on school property, and that office is going to be, or that building is going to be demolished. It's in terrible condition, and they're going to use the land for other things that they're promoting. The school department is promoting. Let's see. Oh, the meeting of the Route 3 Wire Road intersection, the public meeting was several weeks ago, and the town council voted on reconfiguring where the 3 different intersections come together, and they're going to reconfigure it so it's more traffic friendly, because things are not straight and square, and they're going to put a signal there, at least at this point. They're not gonna, there's no rotary or anything or like that, as far as I know, or according to that meeting. So that made it final, that it's gonna be a signal at the corner of Wire Road and Route 3. So, and then let's see, anything else? They've merged the Wire Road Route 3 with the Babusick Brook Bridge, replacement of the bridge, because they're so close. And also, according to the Town Center Committee, they're, there's a lot of action going on. That's basically it. A lot of things are being blended together so that they won't have to block off Route 3 and set up a detour for too long, because that's going to be difficult. And they're working with the state, and construction companies and everything. The Town Center Committee is to try and get those things so that they're done as quickly and painlessly as possible.
Cool. Great. Wow, that's exciting. A lot of stuff happening.
Yes, a lot of stuff happening, and it's a lot of it's starting next year, 24 and 25.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Library Board Committee. So personnel, we talked about that we'll be meeting to do Yvette's evaluation. And then the Finance Committee. So we met, Janet and Yvette and I, and we went over all of the different things that need to happen in the building. And that's this piece of paper that's got the 2 tones that Yvette sent out. I don't know if people brought that with them. And then Janet also put together a separate chart for our resources, what we have available to fund these projects. And I want to thank both of you. I think this makes it really clear, like what we have and what we need to get done. So the first 3 rows are all relating to the granite steps. So for me, those are like, that's a step that's done. Like that's a step. It's in the process. It's done. So while it's still going to be ongoing, we know where it's paid for. We've accepted the quote. The railing's going to be taken care of. Everything is good with that. So then we come down to the update the elevator, and we did get a proposal from Stanley. And Eva, I know that there were some people who expressed to you concerns about the cost. I wonder if you had any chance to follow up with some of the department heads
Not
about
yet,
that. No. Okay, so we. I guess to my mind, I looked through this, and I wouldn't even know where to begin to say that it, like, what to do, what not to do. I mean, it looked very comprehensive. I reread the whole thing. It seems like they've taken into account all of the things that we would need, what in fact down to replace this, keep that, replace this. And if you look at their references, I mean, the Elm Street parking garage, the nursing home, BAE, like these are, Stanley is a very reputable, good business. So we're in the situation where we need to decide on accepting this bid. And moving forward, we would still need to get funding out of our capital reserve fund. So we would have to go before the town council. So this had to be done within a certain time frame. So I think we're within that time frame. I'm not sure if I remember exactly what the date is that we had to do it within. Needs to vote to accept the quote. We got it on, I think they were a little late in getting it to you, right? So January 13th was when it was accepted,
Yeah, 60 days after that.
60 days. So
March.
So we do have a little bit more time. So with that being said, our intention would be to ask for money from the our capital reserve fund, which currently has a balance of $287,518. The proposal is for the elevator at $194,900. So we would still have $93,000 in our capital reserve fund when this was done, and that doesn't take into an account if there's an addition that goes in next year, which would be on June 30th, rather, for our upcoming fiscal year, which would be $75,000. So that is there. So that's one thing we have to decide how we want to proceed. The other thing is below that, which is the chiller and HVAC. And one of the things we discussed at as a group at the finance committee was getting a proposal, putting out an RFP, and asking for a proposal that does it in stages. So if we have an idea of like how much a chiller will cost, and then how much the remainder of the HVAC would cost, and if we were to be able to do that with the same company, that way when they put the chiller in, then in time when we say, okay, now time for the HVAC, a year down the road or whenever we have that money together, it's going to be like seamless going in. We don't want to put in a chiller and then find out that there's a problem with, replacing the HVAC. So our thought was perhaps asking for the town to help us with an RFP for the project, just so we had some concrete numbers and knew where we stood with that. The other big ticket item on here is the slate roof. And some of our thoughts on that were, well, we do have some library trustee funds. We also have these grants that might be coming available, and that might seem like a project that we could at least try to get some funding for, because we have the energy audit done. It would help with energy costs. Could be a lot of things that would tick boxes on the grant application for those. All right, Janet and Yvette, what have I left off? What did I not? So
The steps are going to get done.
Yep, the steps are going to get done. So that we're excited about that. So for the elevator, I guess the first thing I would ask is, Yvette was going to reach out because some people thought that this might be expensive. I think that we're in a different situation from other town buildings that might have replaced an elevator, and that ours is so old. And I think that some of it has to be really retrofitted. If you read the proposal over, they were saying like, we can use this, but we have to remove that part. We can use this, but we have to remove that. And as we all know, like doing that is probably more costly even in labor versus just taking it out and putting a new unit in. So I had asked Yvette if she could just ask those people who expressed concern, like, well, what do you think before we move forward, just to get people's opinion. So since she hasn't heard anything from them, I don't know if we want to hold off and vote on this March 7th. I just don't want to put us in a situation where we can't go before the town for the capital reserve request. So thoughts, comments, questions?
Well, it really needs to be done. It's kind of indispensable.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I could be like, well, we don't actually think you need that. Like, I mean,
Right.
this is it.
The list is
I took
long.
some time to read it over in more detail. Not that I understood everything, but I was like really, if you look at it, it looks like it's their base proposal, and they addressed every single item that goes into the elevator. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty specific.
So I guess we could do one of two things. We could vote to accept the proposal and move forward. We could say we're going to vote on the proposal March 7th when we meet and see if we get any feedback from people in the next 2 weeks. But in the meantime, ask for time to go before the town council in early March to make our capital reserve fund request. So March 7th would still put us within the 60 days for Stanley. And and we need to go to the town council one way or the other. So, when do they meet in March? Does anybody have
It's like
that?
the second and fourth.
So if we met on the 7th,
It would be the 9th,
Well, we request to be put on the agenda,
Right.
so.
the 9th or the 23rd.
so,
So I would say we vote for it and get it done, because if something major happens, somebody's in the elevator and, you know, something happens, it's more liability.
Yeah. we
It's
should
more
just do it.
liability, things can happen.
The only thing that I can think of is you kind of mentioned off to the side that maybe picking and choosing
but who could
all
do
these
that?
different parts,
Like, I mean, like
rather
the-
than replacing it new would make it simpler.
right. Well,
But what would, and you said it, or you had obviously discussed that maybe it would be less expensive to actually just put a new one in.
but I don't think they can do that in
I
our
don't think
case
they-
because
yeah.
our elevator is so small. It's not the standard size that you do elevators in anymore. So
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's a smaller elevator and they're doing all the different parts and all that. And also, I don't know when the people that had spoke when the last time they did an elevator was. Do you know when?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, costs have just gone up
Up
so
so high.
exponentially
Right.
compared to what they were
Yeah, that
a
is
few
true.
years
Yeah.
ago. I
Well.
mean, even just the cost of labor, right, and what people get paid per hour has gone up. So,
Yes.
so is your feeling as a board that we want to just accept this proposal and move forward, or do you, Mike? Go ahead. Sorry.
Are these old parts that we're keeping gonna last a while, or is it gonna cost us more?
That's a
in the
good
long run?
question. I don't know the answer to that. We can ask them. I would think that if there was something that was going to be needed to be replaced, they would replace it while they're in there, you know, and tell us how much that would cost. I can't imagine that they would leave anything in that wasn't going to last. And there's a 12-month warranty on parts and workmanship that they'll visit for preventative maintenance and handle callbacks, adjustment, repair should they be required at no additional cost. I mean, you have a service contract with them anyways, right? So they come in, so our current elevator, they come in and service. I think that's just part of having the elevator is there's going to be some maintenance, just like in your car, right? Some general wear and tear that has to get taken care of on a regular basis, but I don't know. Having never replaced an elevator before, I really don't know. No, I'm not really an expert on this. So, yeah, but this is the proposal we have. They're the people who service our current elevator. They obviously have done other things. So I guess would the board like to vote tonight, or would you like to hold off and see if Yvette gets more feedback and vote on the 7th? What would be your pleasure? What would you like to do? Please, somebody give me an opinion.
We
could.
can vote tonight.
I think I would be surprised looking at the detail here. I mean, they have a schedule of existing equipment. In other words, they are specifically naming each thing that they are not going to replace. They're going to fix and thing. It's
very comprehensive.
It's comprehensive.
Yep.
And I just don't know how we could not
Okay.
take that as, I mean, I imagine they're the most experienced people around. It's certainly a reputable company, and
Are there even any other elevator companies nearby? I don't even know.
I don't know, but this was the only RFP
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what we. Yeah.
or proposal we received.
so it just seems to me that we should vote now, and then if circumstances change.
So, and I think that if we vote pending the because we do have to go before the town council and request the money. So we have to vote to, I would assume, to accept it pending approval by the town council to authorize the capital reserve fund. So does that sound correct to you because I know you've talked about that before. So
Say it again.
So I'm going to make a motion that we accept this proposal, the proposal from Stanley Elevator, to replace our elevator at a cost of $194,900, pending approval of our capital reserve fund request by the town council.
Pending
Approval by the town council for our capital reserve fund request.
pending approval of the council for capital reserve fund request. Can you give me the amount one more time?
Sure, $194,900.
Got it.
Okay. So.
I agree. I second.
Okay, seconded by Janet. Is there any further discussion?
Oh, build half a house for that.
I don't know. I was looking at, there were some different things in real estate. It's so hard to believe what things are costing, right? Yeah. All right. So what are our further discussion? Any other comments or thoughts on this? I feel like this has been a long time coming.
Okay.
So.
We move that we accept the proposal from Stanley Elevator at the cost of $194,900 pending approval of the town council for our capital reserve fund request.
Yes. Okay. If there's no further discussion, I will just ask all in favor. 500. Okay. So we won't sign this. We have to wait. Could you, Yvette, could you ask us if we could be put on the agenda?
Mhm.
And if you want to communicate with Stanley that we are proposing to go forward, but we can't say anything, we can't sign off on it until we know we have the funding from our capital reserve fund. And I just would like to say, as I was looking at these numbers, I am just really appreciative of people who had the forethought to start this capital reserve fund and to make sure that it was funded on a regular basis, because it really does help make doing these things, as much as they cost a lot of money and we take it very seriously. It's nice to know we have the funding to support keeping the building up. So we appreciate that very much. So, okay. The other item is just to ask the board to consider us requesting that Yvette get an RFP, ask the town to help support an RFP on the HVAC and chiller. That would be done in phases. So would we like to move forward with that?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess then I'm asking the board to consider, I'd like to make a motion that we put out an RFP for chiller and HVAC replacement done in phases. Phases or stages, but it's about phases. We'll go with phases. Done in phases.
An RFP. We put out an RFP.
For chiller and HVAC replacement done in phases. This would require that there will be an engineer who does a study, who looks at the whole thing, comes up with a plan. So we're doing it very methodically. We know what our costs are going forward. And I think that one of our things is the chiller, because, the building without air conditioning is unbearable in the summer. It's just not okay. So if we could replace the chiller sooner and then look at how we could fund the HVAC, again, thinking about the grants, thinking about what other money we have, doing it in phases offers us some opportunities to do that.
Usually they do it together.
Yeah, that's why we were
but
saying.
I'm looking at the figures, it's like
Yep.
300K.
Yep. Yeah. But I think that was the idea, is that if we say we get one proposal done in phases and they say, okay, we can do the chiller, and now we've replaced any of the piping or, anything that would, this is the new up-to-date chiller, with the idea that we can now put in new HVAC. And if it doesn't work, if if that's not going to be what comes back, it's better for us to know that now than to think that's how we can do it down the road. So we may put out this RFP and there might not be any vendors that come forward, or a vendor might come forward and say, that's not possible in your building. Well, at least we'll know. So we have an idea of what's ahead of us. So. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we have an RFP, put out an RFP to replace the HVAC and chiller in phases. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Janet seconds. Any more discussion about this? Okay, all in favor? 500. Those were my 2 items that I was worried about. So, I mean, I knew that you guys were behind it, but boy, it's just a lot of money to even contemplate. But like I said, thank goodness we have the capital reserve fund, one step at a time. No pun on the steps that were getting replaced. There should be a lot of step puns coming out.
There is this grant coming, like if we can.
Yeah, do you know when
the good thing?
Yeah, if it's coming, we don't know when it's coming. We don't know if we would be awarded it, but it's nice to have the option and to see what happens. So, okay. Is there anything else to come before the board? All right, so I'm just going to review our action items as I have them listed. Yvette is going to check on the PO 21221749 to see if that was transferred over. And she's also going to look into the AEDs. Do we need them replaced or not? And come up with an answer. Yes.
You may feel that this is, I should know this, but what does AED stand for?
It's one of those machines that I can't think of what it stands for at this point. It's a defibrillator. Yeah, it's a defibrillator.
Oh,
yes.
The new, okay.
Yeah, with the patches and the,
Okay. I got it now. Thank you.
Yep. I'm going to contact Deb Hoadley, let her know that we would like to move forward with strategic planning, but that we'd like to make some adjustments to the timetable because of new board members coming on board. Janet is going to move $719.97 from special to fines. And
How much was that again?
$719.97.
It's only the third time I wrote it down.
Don't worry. And Yvette is going to see if we can get on the town council agenda for March. And yes. And you know, we did approve the, we are accepting it. If there was something glaring that was brought to your attention between now and then, we would just deal with it. So,
Yep.
Okay. The filing period for town offices is February 22nd to March 3rd. The Library of Trustees is a great board to work on, so we hope people will consider that. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library is meeting again on March 6th at 7 p.m. And the Merrimack Public Library Board of Trustees will have our monthly meeting on March 21st, 23rd. Obviously, the meetings that we set up to deal with handling Yvette's review are all non-public meetings as they fall under personnel. So, anything else? Sohini.
Didn't we set up something on March 6th?
We are meeting on March 6th and we're to go over...
Seventh.
March 7th, I'm sorry. March 7th.
Okay, that's
Yep.
where I'm like,
Yep, but our regular monthly meeting is March 21st, and the Friends are meeting on March 6th. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Then, seeing nothing else, I will make a motion that we adjourn at 8:22.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, great. 500. Thank you.
Not my record, but